how I feel every time to do well. Sometimes the overworld kind of tells you which way to go. So let's see what these guys get from this overworld.
Yeah, this one I'd definitely head west and probably loop up north, depending on what I see along the way.
So yeah, amazing toaster finding a juicy pivot in a forest tile. He's going for the forest tiles, which you don't see that often in this randomizer. JJ Schmidt checking out Death Mountain. So yeah, players are feeling a little bit dairy today.
And we get the hint that Helmet Head guards the magic key, which means the item in 2 will be magic key. Meanwhile, Rose City Saint and Trails pick up the trophy from Heart Container Cave. JJ Schmidt about to get his spell from Saria, just has to go grab the mirror. And Amazing Toaster going into Teabag Cave to find what he can find in there. And we have Palace 5, pretty easily available.
Yeah, an Amazing Toaster just got the hammer at the Peapath Cave. Hammer used to be a pretty useless item, but now with the new updates, it's pretty much required a lot of the times because you needed to enter New Kasuto, and as well as the sometimes blocked caves and Spectacle Rock in Dead Mountain.
And JJ Schmidt picked up Fire from Saria, and both him and Amazing Toaster found Mito. And Amazing Toaster heads on to Saria, where he'll pick up Fire.
So Fire spell is linked with another spell in this category. So we'll see what that is linked with fire. What spell is linked with fire? So when the cost of that spell gets down.
And Rose City Saint did pick up the medicine from the grass tile. We've already found 2 of the 3 spell items, so it's looking good for us being able to get everything we need. Of course, that includes the Reflect and Thunder spells, which are going to be required in every single 6-gem seed. And Fairy is most of the time required, but certainly helpful in every seed.
So Trails just took a peek into Mido, but left and went to Saria, while Amazing Toaster goes into Mido, checking out for hints.
Yeah, the helpful hints have definitely added a new layer to the randomizer, and it's definitely worth going to towns even if you can't get the item or spell or tech from it, just to see if you can get hints. And as we saw in Mito there was a hint saying the medicine is on west, so they know they should be able to find medicine pretty easily, which, as we know, is in the grass tile, which JJ Schmidt just picked up as well.
Yeah, so I wonder if anyone is ever gonna if anyone is ever gonna look for the hint in Old Kasuto, in that abandoned house in the second section of the town.
I don't know, the main thing is by the time you get there, you're usually pretty okay. and you may have found all the hints. There will be 4 hints given on any given seed. So if you've already found the hints, there's not going to be any point to, and at that late in the game, you may not even need the hints, but it's always going to be interesting to see it. RCS picking up his fire spell. I don't believe we've confirmed what it's linked to as of yet. I don't think any of our players can even cast it.
So we've seen a boulder that is blocking the south of the west continent, and there is a cave blocked by a boulder, so the hammer will be pretty useful in this seed.
Anytime you see a hammer-blocked cave, you know it's going to have an item in it, so it's always good to go check those. In this case, it's Magic Container Cave.
Okay, so we're getting in chat that fire is combined with spell. So, well, early in the game that could be kind of useful, but I don't know. Well, it will help players get an item in New Kasuto later in the game, but we'll see how useful that turns out to be.
Yes, with our flag set tonight, we do not have large and small enemies mixed, so its usefulness is dwindled somewhat. There's times in palaces where it would be really helpful to not have to deal with the large enemy, such as in Palace 4 on the crumbling bridge. If you get certain enemies, that can be a real pain, and just popping the spell can make that immensely easier.
So JJ Schmidt entering Rudo. We're gonna see what the spell there is. However, I don't remember if he has the trophy. I believe he does, but I'm not sure.
I don't think he does. But he should be able to get a hint where it is if he doesn't have it. Oh, he does have it.
And it is Jump, which will help him get downstab at Mido. So it is a good spell to get early. Meanwhile, Amazing Toaster revisiting Mido, because he now has the medicine, I believe. And let's see what spell he gets out of Mido.
Medicine, JJ Schmidt is in Medicine Cave now, which was also hammer blocked. So he'll be picking up another item, and I believe we have just one more cave to see.
Which is Hard Container Cave, right? Ferric or Trophy Cave. I just lost track.
Yeah, we have not seen Trophy Cave just yet. We've got trails popping into Death Mountain and popping right back out.
And I just
the raft. It might be a case of we're going into Death Mountain. We've seen Palace 2 and 5. 5, you just never want to dive ever, under any circumstances. And 2, there's the chance of being glove blocked, and without the glove, it's not as appealing to go on in there. So we may be seeing a play on Death Mountain shortly.
So, Palace 2, found by Rosie the Saint, as well as Rudo. So, can you remind me the palaces we've got here on the west?
So we've seen 2 and 5, and I want to say someone hopped into GP, but I may just be completely off base there.
So Amazing Toaster is the first player that is dealing with Dead Mountain. Let's see if that gives fruit to something.
And if you have the hammer and down stab, it's not too bad of a play to go on Death Mountain. It's just it can be such a pain and absolute time loss if it's not required, so it's always a gamble. Hopefully it pays off for him today.
So JJ Schmidt getting the life spell out of the town of Rauru. And I missed the spell in Mido. If anyone can tell me what the spell in Mido is. So we've got all the spells in the west.
I believe it was
sorted
Reflect
out.
in Mido. And chat confirming that. An Amazing Toaster having a little bit of trouble with that bouncy goat, bouncy cat, whatever it is. Those things are never fun, much like the Fleamen in Castlevania.
Yeah, I hate them. I don't even know what animal they are, but I know that I hate them.
I don't know, they've got big beards, so I kind of just go with goat. And we do see the rock, Alcatraz, there, and it does look fairly accessible.
So for those of you who are new to this stream, we are playing the Swiss flags that we're going to be using in the Zelda 2 randomizer tournament that we're gonna be having next month. I believe almost 30 players have signed up so far, so it's gonna be a very big tournament. And JJ Schmidt is in Trophy Cave and he's gonna pick a magic container out of there.
Okay, so that confirms that Raft is either in Death Mountain or one of our palaces. So we're going to need to start seeing some plays made for those. And as for the tournament, I'm certainly looking forward to taking last place in that.
I believe you've got pretty good competition at that goal. Okay.
It does find Hammer Cave, and as good of competition as I may have for last place, I do believe I will be the only player playing on a keyboard.
You're tempting me to try that out. I played a lot in the keyboard like 10 years ago, so I was good at it. I felt better at it than I felt at a gamepad, but lately, yeah, the keyboard I have doesn't let me push more than 3 keys at a time, so it feels weird sometimes. Do you have problems with that?
And JJ Schmidt finds Palace 4, so I was completely off base, and I have no idea why I thought I saw GP somewhere. But that just goes to show, ignore me.
Okay, so Amazing Toaster in the final room of the Hammer Cave. Let's see if his exploration was worth it. We think it will be, and it isn't. It is the cross. Let's see if the Spectacle Rock has what he wants.
Well, if you're going to find the cross, as I always say, it's at least good to find it early. But yeah, definitely not what he wanted to see.
So we're gonna see what the rock holds, and it is the raft. JJ Schmidt finding it right away. So wow, that was a very lucky move for him.
It does look like he will be making a play for Hammer Cave while he's in there. Don't know if he'll check more than just a few caves and see if it happens to be there, since he does have what he needs. But since he's already there, maybe he'll just explore the whole thing and hope for the glove.
So Amazing Toaster is still digging that mountain. He knows that the spectacle rock must be holding to something. So let's see if he finds it soon. And well, Mr. Slayer Lightstorm, who is our tracker for tonight, tells us that Rose City Saint just got downstab, which is something you want the earliest possible, because it helps you fight and it helps you avoid a lot of enemies.
It's definitely something I have never gone without. It's just that essential to my survival. But again, I'm pretty terrible at this, so that's not saying much.
Yeah, I've lost plenty of races for not getting downstab early, so yeah, I know how necessary it is. And Rose City saying getting the raft out of that mountain.
And looks like he too will go looking for Hammer Cave. Disappointed by the cross. But again, since you're already there, it doesn't make too much sense to leave, especially since they should have seen that the rock is fairly accessible. And chat asking if the fairy or key before entering palaces is gone. No, that is still a thing that I didn't even think about. So that makes more sense why they dive Death Mountain before palaces.
Yeah, and this category you've got two things that can help you enter palaces before getting the magic key or fairy, and it is that you can get keys dropped out of the enemies, and the second is that in this category you've got the extra keys in palaces flag, which makes every payback in the palaces, it makes it a key, so it will help you explore palaces easily at the start.
We've got Frico asking if this is a randomizer race, and it's been pointed out, yes. And what's randomized in this? Well, it's easier to say what's not randomized. The layouts of the town. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah, and the layouts of the caves inside probably are what is not randomized, but everything else is randomized. As you can see, the overworld looks completely different to the vanilla Zelda 2 universe, and well, all the enemies are shuffled and all the palace's rooms are shuffled. So J.J. Smith takes on exploring the east, so let's see what he finds. There's a forest tile.
A very quick Death Valley, that's always helpful.
So there are 6 overworld locations on the west. There are 8 locations on the east, on the overworld, and besides those, there are all the palaces have items, except for Great Palace. So that means that you at least need to look for I don't know, 20 locations in this game for items.
Yeah, it sounds just about right. Let's not forget that the spell locations are randomized. Whether you'll even need them is randomized. The town locations, there's a very high degree of randomization.
So Eternal Newbie asks if we can have the towns of the west in the east and the towns of the east in the west. Dick Shake says it can be done, but it is a lot of work. And the reason for that is that the towns, sometimes they are extended outside of the town. For example, the King's Tomb and Bagu's house make part of some of the towns. So if you want to put that in the east, you have to carry those outside locations with them, because, well, they are in a different part of the memory of the game. So it is pretty difficult, but he says it can be done, but it's not in his list of priorities right now.
And J.J. Schmidt did pick up the kid from the desert tile, and so did Rose City Saint just now. And they are going to be picking up heart containers from the Peabag Cave there. And I just want to say thank you for that wonderful explanation. I just sort of said it's possible, but it's not a priority, but maybe we'll see it.
Yeah, one of the things he has said that maybe can happen is shuffling the doors of the towns. So, for example, you get the spell on top of the church, so you need the jump spell or the fairy spell to get that spell. Or, for example, you can get downstab you need a spell item to get downstab. So that could be pretty interesting. He's kind of tempted to do it someday. So let's see if he pulls it off. This year he has come out with a lot of updates, so we are very satisfied with his work in the last day. So yeah, congratulations. This Randomizer just turned a lot of fun things that are new for us, and well, we're racing the hell out of it.
And it seems like J.J. Schmidt has been picking up a lot of one-ups. And since we do have standardized drops this time, I believe everyone else has been. I've just taken note that J.J. Schmidt has picked up a lot.
Yeah, and several locations have a 1-up as the item, so those are included. So he's gonna find what the spelling all Kazuto is.
And we've got trails right by Three Eye Rock, where you will need the flute to reveal the last palace.
And J.J. Schmidt just picked up Thunder, so he's just got the 2 strictly necessary spells that he needs.
And since we know that the magic key is in Palace 2, we also know Fairy will be, I don't know if I can say 100% required, but the logic will indicate that you will have Fairy spell before you enter Palaces. And hopefully we get to see, yes, Trails did pick up Thunder. It's hard to tell with them slides showing like this at times. So I don't believe Amazing Toaster has found the raft yet. Am I correct there? He is still exploring the West Overworld.
It looks so. So yeah, he had bad luck at that mountain. He really explored a lot of it. But he wasn't just lucky to find that location. Let's see how he deals with Palace 2, which he just entered. He's at least gonna find the magic key there. However, we do not know if he got the hint that the key is in there. So yeah.
So the first item in New Kasuto is a magic container. Meanwhile, Rose City Saint picking up a pea bag in the other pea bag cave on the east. I'm sorry, is he on? Yeah, he's on the pea bag cave. So New Kasuto, you just kind of walk over every forest tile until you find one that doesn't transform or transport you, and then you can whack that with the hammer.
So
Jay find the fairy spell in New Kasuto. Let's see if he actually goes over there to the far end with fire as spell.
I believe he will, because none of the players have the glove nor the flute. So yeah, that is mandatory to check out the items as you walk.
And just a pea bag.
A rusty one.
So he's saying about to pick up our spell from Naburu. Do we know what it is yet? It is the spell.
Yeah, so the most lazy lady on earth gives us the less useful spell of them all in vanilla, and well, in Randomizer that tends to happen, and that happened here. So we've got a River Devil that is blocking something. So yeah, that has been a thing the last week, and we believe that happens because Trails just had so much faith in one of those River Devils that was useless, and he searched everywhere for more than half an hour for the flute, and then he went to play his tune to the River Devil, but it was useless. So yeah, I think that raised the morale of all the River Devils, and all the races we've done lately have had some very necessary River Devils. So yeah, that's a story of the random world.
We do have Trails diving into 3 with a very satisfying purple palette. Looks like he may be the first to place a gem.
Rose City Saint, who can ever play this game without getting upset, just getting it for the sake of his mind, his sanity. So let's see what the spell in Darunia turns out to be. We now know that it isn't anything required, but it could be helpful, like the shield spell.
Absolutely, and we have someone in chat asking if it's the spell, or the spell. All depends on how you spell it.
Yeah, and I called it. It was the shield spell in Darunia. And JJ Schmidt about to enter the Maze Island, where you can find 2 items and a palace.
Trail's taking on Rebanak there. He will be the first to place a gem. Unfortunately, there is no prize for first to place a gem. Only last to beat first to beat Darkling.
So it is Palace 6 on that mountain. Sorry, on Maze Island.
So that means one is either in Three Eye Rock or Death Valley, and the other one is going to be the GP.
So Trails just beat Palace 3. Palace 3 boss is the Iron Knuckle that is riding a horse. That is the enemy that you have to beat in Palace 3. However, he's still at it because, well, he wants to find the item. We're still looking for the flute and we're looking for the glove, which are totally necessary to beat this game.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think Palace 3 is probably one of my favorites. It's 14 rooms, only has 3 levels, so once you find that dead end, you know the other 2 right ways are gonna either be the item or the boss, so it's always just real quick and easy to go through that. However, he does nope on out without collecting the item. We'll see if that comes to bite him in the ass.
That certainly could happen. I missed what item JJ Schmidt got at the first Maze Island encounter where the kid normally is. And he finds the second one, so we'll check what it is. It is a hard container.
And yes, this game does have a go mode. For the most part, when you have the glove, the thunder spell, the reflect spell, and sometimes the fairy spell, you're generally considered in go mode. However, nowadays you do need the flute as well with the new version. And Eternal Newbie in chat pointing out it was the flute that was the first item on Maze Island. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, and the go mode, as well as in other games, it depends on the category you're playing. So for this category where you have to beat the 6 palaces, well, the items and spells that Duster W just mentioned are pretty much necessary. However, for example, in Max Rando, there are seats where you don't need absolutely anything.
So Toaster about to pick up his flute. So at this point, who would you say is in the lead? think I'd have to give it to Trails on account of he got the flute first, but it's really too early for me to call. Would love to hear your thoughts, though.
Yeah, I believe JJ Smith is looking kind of good today. Rosie is saying he's always a late starter, but when he has to beat palaces, he just picks up the pace and beats everyone. So let's see what happens. Because, well, today the only one that has had some troubles at this moment is Amazing Toaster that lost a bit of time in Dead Mountain. But yeah, anything can happen at this moment.
And I apologize. I guess Trails hadn't picked up the flute. I'm just bad at paying attention. As I said earlier, just ignore me.
So JJ Smith entering Great Palace. Great Palace is in the Three-Eyed Rock. That you reveal the palace that is in it by playing the flute at the center of the three rocks, just as the vanilla game. So yeah, that's the location of Great Palace.
So that means one is in Death Valley, which could be interesting to see our players make a play on that.
It is a very short valley, though, so yeah, I think they will take on it very soon. Let's see.
And that first elevator room that JJ Schmidt was in, there is a way to pick that lock. The statue head on the left side of the elevator. If you jump and stab that and it drops a red jar, you can collect the red jar, go up the elevator and back down, and that will make the door despawn. That's just a useful trick for when you're struggling with keys or fairy costs or anything of the like.
Yeah, I always forget about that. I believe that has cost me some time in the latest races.
Toaster picks up a bag of rusty nickels.
So yeah, Golan, for this new update of the randomizer, we have 9 choosable characters and you can choose their color. So today the only one that chose someone different than Link was JJ Smith, which chose a dark nut sprite designed by a seasoned player of the Zelda 2 randomizer universe, Mr. Jackimus.
And chat asking if this is a Shadow Link required seed. Every randomizer seed, that is going to be the goal, is to beat Shadow Link or Dark Link. It's just the different categories can be different ways of going about doing that. Yes, in this standard set of Swiss flags, every palace is required, Thunderbird is required, and Dark Link, of course, is required. JJ Schmidt places his first gem in Palace 3. And looks like we've got Rose City Saint making a play on 4.
Yeah, I believe, if you ask me who is in the lead, I believe the one who will be in the lead is the one that finds the glove first. We are almost 100% sure that that will lie in a palace, so let's see what palace the glove lies in. We know it isn't 2, because 2 had the magic key.
3 and 6 we know are glove blocked at this point. We know that the magic key is in 2, so that's going to be 1, 4, or 5. Of course, that leads me to think it's probably 5, just because that's going to be the most trolly move it can pull.
Yeah, that's a thing we need desperately. The sprite of the glove to flip as the bird when it is in 5.
100% agree.
So this Palace 4 is looking a little bit trolly. It tends to be friendly, but with the presence of Mr. Duster W, it becomes pretty wild. So yeah.
Yep. I don't think it's any.
Hey, Mr. Cross Product, we missed you in this community. So yeah, shout out to you.
Technical issues, I apologize for that. I think it's no secret that 4 is one of my least favorites, even though it's generally easy, just because it does tend to be so super trolly for me. I saw Rose City Saint go through a decent sized loop, and that can just so easily happen in 4. That's one cool thing about the randomizer, is the layouts of the palace just don't have to make any sense. But we do have Rose City Saint about to find the item, and it is the boots. But those should not be required at this point. I do believe we have seen everything this seed has to offer. It's just getting into the palaces to find the item. Again, we are down to 1 and 5 as possibilities, I believe.
Yeah, but the boots open a new possibility, and it is the water tile. So yeah, glove could be in there.
That is entirely true. And again, shout out to Cross Product. If you ever want to win a race, just find out when I'm racing, and you'll pretty much be handed it on a silver platter.
Same for me if you wanna beef up your victory. Just play us both. So Rose City Saint facing Karok. Meanwhile, Trails is playing the flute for Mr. River Devil again in a very, very faithful encounter with this River Devil. Trails love to play music to those devils. And yeah, as well, this one led to nothing, a dead end.
And RCS takes Karok top down.
So Trail's about to find, I believe, a P-Bag in the P-Bag cave.
Right you are. looks like Rose City Saint. I may be mistaken. Probably going to go make the play on 1 in Death Valley. That's exactly what he's doing. And an excellent fairy feat. Similar to the screen wrap glitch in Zelda 1. Just get that 1 frame tap. And wow, 3 encounters just right in a row.
Yeah, that Valley of Death looked friendly, but it wasn't.
JJ Schmidt really wants that key. Or he was just playing with the iron knuckle, but either way. So we've got a lot of green and blues for palaces this seed. Yeah, I'm used to seeing greens. It's nice to see some blues here and there, though.
Yeah, they don't show that often. So yeah, pretty refreshing to look at those.
Certainly better than the Pepto-Bismol pinks we've been seeing a lot lately.
That is correct, or the Crimson Red Great Palace, where you have to face Thunderbird and barely see the fireball. So Rose City Saint just found the glove in Palace 1, so yeah, that was the play. So I'd say he has a huge lead in this moment.
I'd have to agree. And this is one case I think I might have done pretty well, with Valley of Death being right off of the raft spot on East. I probably would have peeked on in and went ahead and tried to dive it, even without the fairy spell, just because that's how I play. So that could have played in my favor if I were actually racing this. It's not to say I would have done well in any shape or form. I just might have gotten the glove earlier. So at this point, I do believe Rose City Saint is full-on dig shake and is just going to go knock out the palaces and head on into GP. Trails playing with the blue iron knuckles from the dripper there. Not too bad of experience at 200 each. Certainly not, at this point, worth spending time on, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, I believe he just thought the same. But well, it kind of helps just finishing the palace and facing Guma after getting a level. It's a little bit helpful. So we've got Rose City Saint and Trails in Palace 5. Meanwhile, Amazing Toaster is in Palace 2. And Rose City Saint finds Guma just as soon as he enters the palace, so very lucky for him. But you have to keep in mind that Trails is still looking for the glove, so I believe Trails is taking all the laps available, so yeah, that will play against him because he won't find the glove. 100% sure of that, and well, he will take a while to find the boss.
I do believe, given our choices of what's left, he will either find a magic ore heart container or another bag of nickels.
So yeah, Rose City Saint has beaten 3 palaces, 4, 5, and 1. And he's in the lead of the gem placement, and well, he's in the lead of the item scavenging. I don't know if that is a word, but I'll call it that. So yeah, he's in the lead. Let's see if he makes it worth it and gives us a very low time of finishing the set.
Well, yeah, I definitely would have to say he is one of the top 3 players, in the whole community. So I expect we'll see him finishing up pretty quickly here as he jumps on into 2.
So we've got 3 players on Palace 2 and a player on Palace 5, which is the green colored palace we see.
thing that always amazes me is how different the same palette looks for different players. Toaster, we have almost a brown. Rose City Saint, we have kind of a muted yellow, and JJ Schmidt is a very loud orange.
Yeah, I like my orange loud.
We have Toaster coming against Helmet Head here. And Rose City Saint finds the fake boss room.
So yeah, Amazing Toaster plays in the gem at Palace 2. Trails making his way through Palace 5. Very unlucky move for him to be searching for the item there. And Rose City Zane about to find the magic key in Palace 2, which will help him a little bit finishing the 2 palaces that he has left, and this one also. Yeah, very helpful because he won't have to death abuse anymore for keys.
And we do have Toaster playing around in 4 now. JJ Schmidt placing his gem in 2.
Yeah, and Rose City is saying getting his ass kicked by Palace 2, which is not new. Palace 2 tends to kick everyone's ass, but Palace 2 tends to kick Rose City Saint's ass more often. So yeah, no surprise for him there.
I guess I could liken my rivalry with 4 to Rose City Saints' rivalry with 2. It's kind of irrational, but it just plays out and just is not fun.
So JJ Schmidt exploring Palace 5. He takes the right, so I believe he will find the boss. Yeah, the boss was right there, waiting for you.
And RCS takes down Helmet Head. And he's just left with 2 palaces left. And nobody else has the glove yet, so he definitely has a significant advantage.
Yeah, each second getting wider, getting bigger that advantage. So Rose City Saint just needs to place his gems in Palace 3 and 6. So I guess he's looking for 3.
Yes, I do certainly appreciate RCS's logic and approach to this game, and just how he tends to explore that whole overworld before really making any significant decisions on where to go, and just has that route in his mind and can just knock it out very quickly once he gets it situated. We do have JJ Schmidt getting ready to make a play on 1. He'll be very happy to see that glove.
And Rose City Saint missing the tile where he has to play the flute. So he gets an encounter and we'll try again. And he sees that it is Great Palace. He didn't know. I believe he's gonna go for the water tile. Oh, he isn't. Okay. So we're never gonna see what the water tile holds, in case the other players have already seen it.
Yeah, I can't blame him for skipping out on it. He does have everything he needs. But I don't know. If I were in his situation, I'd hit it because it's right there and it's possibly a heart container, which not vital, but just a little bit helpful.
Yeah, he's a little bit salty because Trails sniped him in a race yesterday, so he may be thinking that he cannot spend any extra time at anything. And yeah, that's the thing he does. When he's in go mode, he feels comfortable and just skips everything that could take a little bit of time. Also, his levels are kind of good, and the quantity of heart containers and magic containers are also very good for him. So yeah, no need for him to spend time on anything else.
Okay, JJ did pick up the glove and is going to finish up 1, and we'll probably see him head straight towards 6, and we may have a race between him and RCS at this point.
Yeah, suddenly they aren't so far away from each other anymore. And you know, Great Palace is the great equalizer, so anything can happen.
Yeah, JJ will have the advantage of levels, so we'll see if that plays in his favor. RCS opting to just jump up that 3-tile gap. Can't blame him. He probably is starting to feel like he might be a little bit behind. There is some pretty good competition there tonight, both on and off stream, so I'm not too surprised to see him trying and rush like this.
So Rose City Saint just missing Palace 6, which is in Maze Island, so he's heading directly to that location.
And we are about to see the item on the water tile, and it is in fact a heart container. So that's one more advantage that JJ Schmidt will have. Again, we also have Big Shake and Jay Coper off cam, so they could give him a run for their money too. JJ will make it to Palace 6 first.
Yeah, wow, he got really close in a matter of seconds, man. Yeah, so he is a little bit in the lead right now, surprisingly. So, yeah.
Yeah, looks like he's just one room ahead at this point. Trail's picking up the boots. Again, not what he wants to find, but
Yeah, I believe you're right, Eternal Newbie. However, with that many magic containers and the levels that the players have, casting fairy several times can be done pretty easily. So I don't think that will be it will be a huge factor for JJ to have a disadvantage at this moment. However, I think that the thing that played out for JJ Schmidt is that Rose City Saint got a very, very bad Palace 2. He was very unlucky in it. So, yeah, I think that was what made the difference here.
and again, cannot discredit how much skill Rose City Saint has at this. And that's not to say JJ Schmidt's not good. He's an amazing player in his own right. Just RCS has a lot more experience, in my opinion.
So we're in Canada, in the Canadian Hall, and Rose City Saint falls in to find a possible right, where he finds one of the mini bosses. Oh no, sorry, this is the fake mini boss room. Do you know how to tell the difference? And this one is the mini boss room. Do you know how to tell the difference between the fake mini boss fake room and the mini boss room?
I don't know until the helmets or the statue heads either start firing at me or Revenat comes after me. I do believe they are exactly the same until that point. And Rose City Saint does find a pretty quick Barba, which will give him quite the advantage in GP.
Yeah, but JJ Schmidt is right behind. He's almost at the mini boss. So yeah, this is a very close race still.
RCS going very aggressive against Barba.
Yeah, he has a very consistent but fast way to kill Barba, hitting him like 7 times per cycle. Let's see if JJ Schmidt is as aggressive as Rose City Saint is. Barba is the 6th boss, the last of the 6 necessary palaces boss.
That is correct. And Rose City Saint has all of his gems placed. He's going to just head straight towards Three-Eyed Rock and enter that GP. And JJ is taking it a little slower against Barba, which is going to hurt him in the end here. We have Rose City Saint entering GP at 105.20 roughly.
So this GP is the short version of the GP, which has a 30% less rooms than the original GP. And we are at Eon Drop, where Rose City Saint finds a dead end, so I believe he's gonna take the drop right now. Meanwhile, JJ Schmidt in round 2 with Barba. He wasn't able to cast the jump spell the first time, so he now can. And let's see if that makes this battle a little bit faster for him.
Not if Barba keeps playing on the left side there. What a jerk. And Trails is double dipping into 2. I think he missed the item and does not yet know where the glove is because he missed it when he was in 1.
So a lot of decisions left behind for Rose City Saint. That is the problem with Great Palace. It is pretty big and you leave a lot of decisions behind, so sometimes you tend to get lost, and he loops into the Eon Drop, so he's gonna take the first elevator up, which is the first option.
We do have an off-stream update. Dig Shake has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 29 seconds. So GG to Dig Shake.
Yeah, and congratulations, because he didn't get the real life boss, which is his child, to interrupt him. So yeah, congrats on him for being able to finish the race.
Yes, once again, as Victor mentioned, Dig Shake is a brand new daddy, I believe 3 or 4 days ago. And he's also the creator of the Zelda 2 randomizer. So absolutely coming second place to Dig Shake is just nothing at all to be ashamed of.
So Rose City Saint had to take a nap and at the same time JJ Schmidt entered the palace, so they are in the same room at this moment. However, Rose City Saint has the knowledge that there was a lot of garbage at the right of this palace, but anything can happen at this moment. And yeah, Mr. Golan7, I'm sorry, I always pronounce his name in a way that sounds like something else. So yeah, that's my bad.
It's not just you. It's very easy to mishear that. That's probably part of the appeal of the name. Chat pointing out that, yes, in fact, that whole right side is just a giant loop. Trails is now trying to make a play on Death Mountain.
Oh, that's very unfortunate on Trail's side, because we know that that mountain holds the cross. So I guess he didn't read that hint that was given by one of the townspeople. J.J. Schmidt finding another loop that leads him right to the entrance of the palace. So this is a very truly great palace. We're seeing Rose City Saint take the left at Ferry Room, which leads him to a drop. Let's see if that drop is helpful. It leads him to
Thunderbird. You know, the whole left at Ferry meme did start out as a joke, but we have been seeing it a lot these past couple of months. So J.J. Schmidt did seem to make up quite a bit of time. Still a little bit of ground to make up, but this may still be pretty close.
Yeah, this drop he just took leads him to the left of the palace, and I believe he's right below the entrance again. So after Thunderbird there is another drop. So this palace is not yet done. Rose City Saint definitely has the lead, but after Thunderbird, anything can happen.
There can definitely be drops that'll place you pretty close to the start of the palace. I don't believe that's going to be the case here, but it's always a possibility.
So J.J. Schmidt taking the left at Ferry Room, so he's very close to Thunderbird. Meanwhile, RCS still has 2 lives, which is pretty good after defeating Thunderbird.
Toaster is about to take down Rebanak in Palace 3 here. I believe that puts J.J. Schmidt just a hair over 3 minutes behind RCS. Definitely not insurmountable.
So yeah, you can see that J.J. Schmidt levels are way higher than Rose City Saint levels. So yeah, that is, you don't see that very often, but yeah, these players have different set of levels, and they enter Great Palace in a similar time. So yeah, that's also a thing. So we see Giacomo's room, which make you choose between a left and a down. And Rose City Saint, of course, takes the down because he knows that the down can lead him right, and he needs to go right because Darkling hides in a room that you can only enter from the left. So that's the logic behind
Lane pointing out that J.J. Schmidt has really improved his Thunderbird game. I've seen him really struggle with Thunderbird in the past, and there is a vast improvement. And we do have Dark Link on Rose City Saints side, so maybe a little preemptive, but we can go ahead and say GG. And with that, Rose City Saint does take second place overall with a time of 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 59 seconds. Dig Shake's time was 1 hour, 6 minutes, 29 seconds. So 9.5 minute difference.
So Trails just gave up on that mountain, or he found Hammer Cave. We don't know. I believe he found Hammer Cave. We weren't paying attention. So now at least he is in Palace 1, maybe, to go for the item.
Palace 1, and he'll find the glove and absolutely kick himself for missing it the first time.
And as always, Victor Santa Fe messing up, sending Rose City Saint the wrong link for the interview.
We'll get him in here real shortly. All right, we are joined by Rose City Saint here. GG, man.
Hey, are you there, Mr. Rose City Saint?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing tonight, Victor?
Yeah, I'm doing fine, except I send you the wrong links for everything. So yeah, I mess up always. So GG and congrats.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I checked the second link anyway, so it worked out good. I got luckier on the links than I did on the Great Palace.
Yeah, so what do you think about this, Sid?
This was a pretty free one, as far as the overworld anyway. The first two things I picked up were the trophy and the medicine. So that kind of thing really eliminates the backtracking and means that you're not going to get shut out of any of the spells you need, really. And in fact, one of the first things you find when you arrive on the East was the kid, too. So it really handed you the spell items long before you needed them. All the spells were free. The only minor tricky thing was, Fairy was the last spell I came across, and the glove was in 1, which was buried in Valley of Death. So, it was sort of one of the last things you came across, but everything else went real smooth. Palace 5 was 1 room, so that's always a gift from the rando gods. Overall, this was a pretty smooth seed.
Yeah, I wanted to tell you that you were the first one to find the glove among the feature players, and you had a pretty big lead in that. I mean, JJ Schmidt was the second one to find it, and well, he just finished the game, so GG to him. He ended in 1 hour 18 and 56 seconds. So yeah, and yeah, he found it like I don't know, like 8 minutes after you did, so you had a pretty good lead in that sense. I think the thing that maybe pulled you back a little bit was Palace 2. So yeah, how was that Palace 2 for you? It tends to be a very punishing thing for you.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, there's practically a room there named after me now, the fake boss room or the RCS room, whatever you want to call it. Of course I found it. So I'm thinking of completely changing my strats from now on. I generally take elevators down, like when presented with a 50-50. In Palace 2, I might not do that anymore. I might just start going up. Even though in that case there, I think it was a left that was needed more than anything else. But yeah, I had a laugh when I found that room. I was glad that I got the key. I got the clue early that the magic key was in Palace 2. Otherwise, I would have done that before going into 1, and that probably would have cost me a couple of minutes. And with a seed like this, at least 2 guys have finished, one off stream since I've finished. So they're coming in fast and furious now. So a couple of minutes would have been a big deal.
And with that, Jay Coper did take 4th place, 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 12 seconds.
Yeah, GG to him and to Dig Shake as well, and JJ right here on stream. He did a very good job catching up to me. If I had a large lead, he was just a moment or so behind me. So I think GP stuck it to me again. That continues to be one of the hitches in my game.
Yeah, however, you took the first left as soon as you paid, so yeah, I think you're changing your ways a little bit because
I tried to make an adjustment there, yeah. See, I knew after my first trip through, I think most reasonable players would make that same first trip through that I did. And then I knew I wanted to go back to the ferry room and go left at the ferry room, but then I mistakenly just started going left from start, which led me to a dead end. That was my own fault completely. I had already seen that path and forgotten what I'd seen. So I should have done a better job of remembering. That cost me, I want to say maybe 3 to 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, quite a little bit. JJ Schmidt found that dead end at the left twice. He found it because he arrived from the right, and he found it because he dropped there too. So yeah, that GP was pretty trolly unless you took the left at ferry.
Yes, it was, and that's something that I'm not hesitant to do, but I think I just forgot my way back there. That wasn't the first option. That was option 2, but then I kind of got lost on the way back, which is a little unlike me. I do have a pretty good memory, and that's unlike me, but what is like me is wrong choices in GP, so that's okay. It was all a wash.
Okay, so you're seeing right now Trails finishing Palace 6. Trails was the last one to find the glove. He just came back from a big journey in Death Mountain. I guess he didn't read the hint that said that Death Mountain had the cross, so...
Absolutely, that was another big hint.
Yeah, he just found the glove in 1, and he just finished 1, and he's finishing Palace 6, and he's heading to Great Palace. Meanwhile, Amazing Toaster is in Great Palace.
And we are joined by JJ Schmidt. GG.
GG RCS.
Oh, thanks, you too. Good game.
So what are your opinions on this?
How did this seed treat you?
It felt good to play kind of a normal seed for once.
Tell me about it.
I think you did pretty good. Well, you were... RCS found the glove a lot earlier than the other feature players. However, you caught up to him. You were even in the same room at Great Palace at some point. So yeah, I think you played a very good seed. The only thing that maybe was a little bit questionable was your fight with Barba, but the other things were pretty good. So congratulations on taking the third place, and you played a very good seed.
Yeah, I got a little impatient with Barbara. But yeah, no, that Grand Palace was strange. The loop, it was like a double loop at the beginning. I just lucked out. I didn't really figure it out.
You know, that one room with the blue Faka, you know, the room shaped like an upside down T that had a blue Faka jumping around? I must have seen that thing a dozen times.
I think there was at least 2 of those.
Maybe there was. I felt like I was in the same room repeatedly.
Yeah, I felt like I know there had to be 3, and it felt like there was 4 of those T rooms connected right at the start.
Yes, very awkward GP. It wasn't the worst, it wasn't the trolliest. I would describe it as awkward.
Right, I think that's fair.
Excellent way of describing it.
And Killane said in chat that you improve a lot your fight with Thunderbird. So yeah, you maybe practiced for your show off with Trails at the semifinals in Max Rando.
Yeah, after the debacle, I put aside the Max Rando seeds and just spent probably about 4 hours over this week just practicing, and it's paid off a little bit. It was a lot higher levels though, so shorter fight.
Yeah, so now Trails took an up A, and he's starting Great Palace once again, and he's gonna walk to the left, which is what RCS did by mistake. He's doing it on purpose because that's his policy on Great Palace. As soon as you up A, you take the first left. And he's gonna find the dead end at the left. Meanwhile, Amazing Toaster is fighting Thunderbird. So yeah, he has a very good lead at this moment. So how did you feel, JJ Schmidt, finding the dead end at the left twice in this?
When I watch this back, I might understand what was going on in Great Palace, but it just threw me for a loop. I feel like I took 2 different drops and wound up back at the start twice. So
yeah, you found the start, the left dead end first by walking and then by dropping. So yeah, that is pretty unfortunate. But this Great Palace was very, very trolly.
And again, the way RCS described it, awkward, is just so perfect for it.
Oh yeah, I've seen a few of these. I know an awkward GP when I see one.
But all things considered, I was pretty happy that the glove was in 1 because I didn't want to have to go back to 3 or 5 and re-dig those after such quick bosses.
Yeah, I feel bad for anyone who wanted an item out of 5. I don't.
Yeah,
no one got it, did they?
Yeah, Trails was very unfortunate all over today because he just explored 5 100% today, and then when he didn't find in the other palaces the item, he went to Death Mountain and went to Hammer Cave and found the cross there. So yeah, the glove was really his last shot.
And all this was after he double dipped, or I won't say he double dipped at this point, but he had gone into one and took down Horsehead, just did not collect the glove from there and went to look for it everywhere else.
Oh man, that's brutal.
That's so rough. I can't imagine the thought process there.
Yeah, that's a gamble.
Particularly when one is buried in a 3-tile valley of death. You know what I mean? Where you have to go through 3 encounter tiles. That makes you even less likely to want to ever go back there. Even if it's a larger palace like 5, if you're in there and you still need an item, you might as well dig it out because, you know, going back there is the last thing you'll ever want to do.
Yeah, as soon as we saw that Valley of Death, we thought, well, that looks like a friendly Valley of Death. But then RCS got in, and the 3 encounters side by side were pretty tough. So yeah, you don't want to go
looks were
back
deceiving on that one.
And Trails finally finding Thunderbird. Meanwhile, Amazing Toaster is dealing with the palace that lies beyond Thunderbird. So Amazing Toaster is at Jackimus, so he's pretty close, I believe. Takes Jackimus down and goes to the right, which is the right way. Meanwhile, Trails is fighting Thunderbird.
We're kind of watching him through a Viewmaster at this point.
And round 2 of Thunderbird versus Trails.
I'm gonna dip out and let these guys come on in, but GG RCS and GG to everybody. Thanks for the restream and the comms, guys.
Yeah, you too, JJ, and good luck in the semifinals of that Max Rando. Put on a good show.
Yep, less than 24 hours away, so don't miss that thing.
Sure, yeah, I'll duck out too, but thank you, Duster, and thank you, Victor. Always a pleasure.
No, thank you guys and congratulations. You played very well today. And yeah, again, good luck on the show of tomorrow with Trails.
Thank you, thank you.
And so Amazing Toaster does finish up, takes 5th place with a time of 1 hour, 31 minutes, and 38 seconds. Trails won't be too terribly far behind him.
So Trails is exploring what lies beyond Thunderbird. It wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that short.
And we are joined by Amazing Toaster. GG, how you doing, man?
Oh, better after that dome I did in the early game.
Yeah, what do you think about this Death Mountain?
It was interesting if you came at it from the right way.
Yeah, you were pretty unfortunate. You're the first player that found Hammer Cave and even dig Death Mountain. And then you had very bad luck searching for the rock, so you took out of there, and then you found out that that was the move and had to come back. So yeah, pretty unfortunate. So I believe you did very good in spite of having that unfortunate play.
Yeah, my big problem was I thought I needed to go through there to get to the other half of the west, but that wasn't the case. I missed that through path.
Yeah, we didn't catch that, so yeah, that played a huge role there. Yeah, anything else you want to note about the seed besides that early start?
The big thing was it took me forever to get to, what was it, Nukas? Yeah, it was Nukasuda. It was the last spell to get fairy so I could actually have palaces in logic.
Yeah. Anyway, GG, man. It was a very good seed. Trails is almost reaching Dark Link. If you feel unfortunate, Trails was even more unfortunate. He didn't catch the hint that told you that the cross was in that mountain. So he first he digged Palace 5, and well, of course the glove wasn't there and the boss was free. And well, finally he went to that mountain to find Hammer Cave and find the cross before finding the glove at once. So he was pretty unlucky, but now he is facing Dark Link.
Yeah, I was fortunate that I went to 1 when I did, although I kind of went around the wrong way to get to 1.
So we do have Trails finishing off Dark Link here. And he does so with a official time 1 hour, 35 minutes, and 43 seconds. So did you have any other thoughts about this seed?
I guess I should be fortunate I had that cross. There were a couple places where there were some bad MOA.
Yeah, this seed I could definitely see it being helpful on. I've seen some encounters where there's just 4 right as soon as you drop into the encounter. Definitely would appreciate it there. But yeah, in general, not what you want to find.
No, I was really hoping for boots in there. That was the thing I would have liked to seen in there. Oh well, I'll let you guys go, and if Trails wants to come in, he can talk about what he did.
Yeah, so GG, Mr. Amazing Toaster and Holy Cheese.
It's Swiss. We got to have fun with the.
Oh, that's why, okay. The more you know.
Yeah, I completely missed the reference too.
All right, take care.
Have a great night.
Yeah, good night. So Trails is passing on the interview. So I believe we can wrap up. So congratulations to the players. It was a very good show tonight. It was a very weird seed in some departments, especially in the GP department. We got to check that mountain, which is not something you see every day. So yeah. So it was a very good game. So any final thoughts, Mr. Duster W?
Nothing in particular. I do just want to thank both Cyclone and Slayer for restreaming and tracking. Thank you for joining me in the comm booth here.
No, thanks to you. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to share with you the booth. So yeah, so join us on the weekly races we have here at Speed Gaming on Thursdays at 11 Eastern, and tomorrow we'll play the match 3 of the semifinals, which is going to be played by Trails and Mr. JJ Schmidt, which were featured players today. And yeah, any more announcements besides the tournament, the new tournament of Zelda 2 Randomizer that we'll be playing on July?
I don't believe there's anything else. At least not that's coming to mind right now.
Yeah, so Rose City Sane asks us what time is the match between JJ and Trails. So I'm gonna ask them. In case you know, please tell us.
And I was just about to answer, but Alan Heffley beat me to it. So there we go.
Oh, cool. So it is 9:30 Eastern tomorrow night on Randomania. So you can't miss it because round 1 and round 2 were amazing. They were very, very close races for different reasons, but they were very close races in both occasions. So you cannot miss it. And well, we'll see you next week. So good night, Mr. Duster W, and thank you again for sharing with me tonight.
Well, thank you, and have a great night. And everyone out there, everyone have a great night as well. Thank you.